Well, hey friends, today's a day that I think I need to capture on the video right now. '65 Ford Mustang Fastback coming off the rotisserie for the final time. This is perhaps the second time on a rotisserie. So what this represents is all the metal work, my lane is done, everything. So, coming up. Well, it's free. Now we're going to be putting the wheels, tires on the vehicle. Perhaps tomorrow. We got to finish putting the front end together, put the steering rack on it, and the engine and transmission have to go in this thing only because to get a title, we have to show the car, prove the car to the state, excuse me, to the state of Texas, that the numbers on it match, the numbers we present on paper match the numbers that are embossed in the chassis, and those numbers remain. This fender and that fender over there and that fender there with the new number welded in, or maybe I welded it in this one. There's 3 numbers on this car plus the number in the dash. Actually, no, I don't think there's a VIN number in the dash. So those numbers have to match the paperwork we present to the state of Texas for a bonded title. The last time this vehicle was registered, I believe, you can consult my video right here on YouTube, this channel called Finding Two Mustangs, starring myself and Steve Clark and this car, this very car, folks. This bad boy. Yep, that's right. This is the car. And you can certainly see how far it's come in these many years. And normally cars don't take this long to build, but when you have limited budgets and you're, in Steve's case, was changing jobs 2 or 3 times, and divorce, and things that go like that, and when, just life, things in life, it causes things to slow down, and it causes projects like this, which are purely discretionary. You don't need to restore a '65 Mustang. This is purely a toy. This is purely an investment vehicle. Both Steve and I will enjoy this for many, many years to come. And it was built with a lot of attention to detail, care, and concern. Because you guys got to realize something, that me and Steve Clark go way back, or actually, my father would correct me on that. Steve Clark and myself, or maybe I could say me and Steve Clark, I don't know. But we go back a long ways to when we were 10 years old, something like that. Both our mothers went to college together, and we both grew up, families in the same town. Steve and his brothers were literally my brothers, because I didn't have any brothers, so they had 2 sisters, so we always hung out. You know, we lived pretty close to each other. And Steve, Andy, you know, those 2 guys are brothers, and me. We'd ride dirt bikes all the time and just do crazy stuff. And, you know, all throughout our teenage years, we growing up. So back then, I had a 1968 Volkswagen Bug that it was mine, and one of the guys in church gave it to me because I painted his barn. He said, "I'll give you this car." I was 14 years old, and we had a big field out there in New Hampshire, up on top of Liberty Hill. Big field out there, and I drove Baja Bug and put headers on it from J.C. Whitney, and Steve and all the other guys in church and school would come up on Saturday mornings, and I'd say, "Hey, your price of admission is gasoline." So they'd bring gasoline up, and we'd just put it in that Bug, and we'd drive all over Liberty Hill, out in the fields, logging roads. We had a blast. So way back then, when we were 13 and 14 years old, 15 years old, Steve and I, Andy and I, and Steve and I and Andy, we'd all do stuff on these cars, motorcycles, even date girls. You know, it's funny because one of the girls that we were fond of and we kind of hung out with in church and school and stuff, we're still friends with to this very day, Peggy. You know, Steve and I were still friends with her. So it's really kind of cool that, you know, throughout time, you know, these kind of connections are still maintained. And, you know, building this car like that between myself and Steve has been a really good bonding experience. You know, for me and Steve, you know, we've gotten to be really good friends again, worked on this car, and we've got more that we're going to do. We've got more. This thing's going out of here. Steve has his 928 here, and I'll be doing that for him, helping him out on that. And also he's got another Mustang we're going to do, but we're also going to do my Challenger, and you know, just make it a sort of a habit to do this. He's still working because he needs to work to get money. You know, I'm still working here doing this kind of work because it's fun. It's my hobby, and it's you know, it's parlayed it into a job. But even though I'm retired military, so still got to work, still enjoy doing it. So here's another shot of the car, and we'll do a flyby underneath it. You know, new floors. Anybody that's followed these videos, y'all know I gotta still do this. I forgot about that. I gotta weld these things in. I'll probably do those maybe tomorrow. Maybe today, I don't know. Weld those in, and then maybe this will be strong enough. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So weld this one in too. And rear axle spinning forward. Spinning forward means it's a limited slip, which is really kind of cool. I'm glad Steve, you know, I was going to say, no, just put the stock gear ratio back in, keep it an open rear end, but Steve said, no, let's put a posi or limited slip in it. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, you know. Cost an extra $600 or $700 to do it that way, but hey, I think it's worth it, you know. And then all this stuff right here, this Mustang 2 front end. I'm glad he actually wanted to do this. I was kind of skeptical, like, well, let's just keep it stock, but the stock stuff is junk. The design is just really antiquated and dated. You know, he picked up this, we picked up this. Actually, he picked it up. I was with him when he picked it up. We went up to northern Texas and met a guy from Oklahoma. And the guy from Oklahoma had this installed or in his Mustang, and he gave up on it. And then he cut the frame rail right here and right here. And Steve bought it used, and I surgically cut it apart, removed the old frame rail, sanded it, ground it down, made it fit, media blasted it, and painted it, and it's in. You know, it's in place. I think it's kind of cool, and I'm pretty sure the measurements are good. So anyways, I didn't do the measuring on that. Steve did. But so far so good on that. One thing we didn't do is make frame connectors for it, but I don't know. Torque boxes are in. Remember I made the video about these things? How we had to slice them up and get them to fit. And these little appendages, little braces are in. So it looks pretty good with the undercoating material on it, the lizard skin and you know, and then the paint on top of it. Okay, well, 10 minutes is long enough. So folks, take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. Have a good day.